In this video, we're going to create the software using MakeCode for our social distance trainer. Now, there's a number of requirements for this. One is that if the distance between you and another person is less than the minimum distance, you want to give both of you a warning. And that warning will come in lighting up the LED strip or the Neopixel strip red. If the distance is okay, then it will be green. But we also want to show the distance on the LED array, that is, and also the 4-digit LED display. So let's go ahead and create a new project and give it a name, and it will be Social Distance Trainer 1. And we'll create that. Now, we only get 2 blocks to start with, but we have to add 3 extensions to support our hardware. Now, remember how to do this. We go down to extensions, and all of these will be under Grove. And we select Grove. Now, once Grove has been added, there will be a new block over here called Grove. And we've got 4-digit and the ultrasonic sensor. Now, we have to do this again for the Neopixels. So we go down to extensions, and Neopixels is already here as one of the most popular extensions. So just click on that and verify after it's settled down that we have the Neopixels. And you'll notice there's now a whole series of extra blocks that we can add to our program to manipulate the Neopixel strip. So the first thing we're going to do is give the program a name, go to basic, and we're going to show in the startup area the name of the program. Now, we'll just abbreviate that because we don't want to scroll across the LED display for too long. So we'll just call it Social Distance Trainer 1. And the first thing we're going to do is create an object for our 4-digit display. And we can find that in the Grove area. And we'll set the 4-digit display to the right area. And that's going to be on P8. So just make sure you've got it on P8. And that should correspond with the hardware that you've set up, P8 and P14. So they're the 2 connections you need to make in software. And the first thing we're going to do is clear it. So we'll go over here and we'll just clear that. We don't want to show anything on the display right at the beginning. And we're going to set up a Neopixel display. So go to Neopixels and set strip just under. Now, we've, instead of the default 24, we've actually got 30. And everything else is the same. So we can give it a different name, and we'll call it LED strip. We could have left that name, but we'll just give it a new name, LED strip. And we want to set the maximum social distance. And so we go to variables, and you'll notice we've got a couple set up here already. So we'll create a variable, and it's going to be social distance minimum. And like showing the program, we might actually show a bit of music right at the start. So we'll just play a melody that all of that's been set up. And you can choose the melody, go to the gallery, and pick any one you like. So you can have rising, and that's been done. So we're playing a melody bit. The other thing we might do is actually show on the Neopixel display the color blue. So go down here and look for color blue, show color, and bring that right out. Instead of strip, we're going to use the Neopixel Strip, and we're going to show blue. So the three colors: blue right at the start, green if we're at the correct distance, and red if we're too close. And the only other thing, we might actually show all that for about 1 second. We'll just bring that under and put that on for a second. So we've got the startup. The startup is okay. Now in the forever, we're going to call 2 functions. So we need to create those functions. So go to the functions, click on make a function, and this one we're going to call get distance. And we'll just drag that over here. And the first thing we do in forever is call get distance. And in get distance, we want to show what the distance is on from our ultrasonic sensor. So we go to the Grove series of blocks, and we'll just check our variables. We've got all the variables. So the variables that we've got is social distance. And we actually need another variable, which is distance in centimeters. And what we do here is we drag that right under, and we're going to do a little bit of maths here because we're going to do a bit of rounding. So the first thing we do is to go back to Grove and look for the ultrasonic sensor, and we drag across the centimeters. Make sure you pick centimeters and not inches. And we're actually going to do a bit of maths here, and the maths is going to round it. So we don't want to show a high level of precision. We just click that under and put that under there. And the next thing we're going to do is to show that on our 4-digit display. So we go over and look for a show number, which is the last one, drag it across, put it under, and we go to our variables, and we drag across the set distance. And we'll pause again too. So we go back and give that a bit of time to settle down, and pause for about 100 millimeters, or milliseconds rather. And we're going to add another. Well, now that we've got it, we're going to notify you of the results. So what we'll do is create another function, and we'll call that notify. So we'll just put that function over here. And once we get the results, we go and call the function notify. So under forever, let's bring that down. We will go back to functions and call the result. So we're calling get distance and calling get notified forever. Now, under the get notified, what we want to do is check our distance. So we need a little bit of logic here. So the first logic, we'll just bring if across, and we have to set up a condition. And that condition is we want to test the distance against the maximum distance. So go back to logic, and we'll bring the comparison across. And we put the first one as the distance we've just measured. So we go to variables, distance measured. Now, if that distance is less than the maximum distance, the social distance minimum, we want to do something. We want to warn someone. And one way to do it is on the microbit LED array. So we grab icon and we want to show an unhappy face because we're too close to the other person. So we go and pick one of these ones that looks unhappy, which can be this one. So we show an icon on the LED array. And we might actually show the number. So show the number of what the distance is. So we're unhappy and we're going to tell the person how close they are to us. So we go back to variables and we pick the distance and we click that into that space there. We might actually give them a bit of a warning, perhaps they're not looking. So what we'll do is play a bit of music, which is under music, and give them a tone. So we'll play middle C, and we'll play another tone. So we might repeat that. We'll go duplicate that, and we'll play an E. D, E. That'll go da-da to warn you. Okay, so that's the second way we're going to warn someone. The third way we're going to warn someone is using the Neopixel array. So what we do here is show the color. So we look for one of these. This is going to show the color. And guess what color we're going to show? And we change that strip to LED strip, and it's going to be red. And we go back to Neopixel, and we want to show that. So that's what happens. This is the block. If the social distance that we just measured is less than the minimum social distance. And we can extend that. Oh, we have to correct that one to make it the LED strip. Now it's been corrected. Now under else, we're going to show a happy face. So we can duplicate quite a lot of this. Duplicate the first one. And instead of the sad face, we go and show a happy face. So that's number one. Number two, we won't show the music, but we will show the color green. So we go to the LED strip, duplicate that, and instead of red, we're going to show green. And we just repeat the other one, show. And that's all there is for our social distance trainer. So we should have everything there. Let's just have a look. We've got the on start. We show the program name. We set up the 4-digit LED display. We clear it. And we set up the LED strip. And that's been set up at the right. And so I've got a mistake there. That should be set up for P2, not P0. So we set that at P2. And this is an important step because you go through and you can find your mistakes just by reading the program. We play a melody and we show the color blue and wait for 1 second. And in the forever loop, we call get distance, which is just under it. And this is where we measure on P. And again, there's another mistake. And that should be P16. So we go down here, and we've now got the right port. We're on port 16. We round it, and we show that, or we set the variable distance in centimeters, and we show that on the 4-digit LED display. And the next function we call is notify results, which is really checking the distance that we've just measured against the minimum social distance. So if it's less than, we show an unhappy face, we show the distance, play 2 tones, and show the color red on our LED strip. Otherwise, if we're at the right social distance, we show green on our LED, and we show that on the social, show that on the LED strip. And all you have to do now is press download. And you just have to wait. And if you go to the download area, see if we can find downloads. So the way I do it is just to have a look at my file, use my file explorer, and I'm now in the downloads area, and that program will soon come up. It's not ready yet. So we might still checking it. There it is, it's just arrived. Now we can drag that into our microbit, and hopefully it should work. So that's all for the time being.